Join us as we gather around the virtual table to celebrate Thanksgiving. We'll share stories of gratitude, discuss the history and traditions of this special holiday, and explore the meanings of thankfulness in today's world. From heartwarming anecdotes to thought provoking and enigmatic discussions, this episode is sure to warm your heart and inspire you to count your blessings. Tonight on Newsworthy, two words and two question marks.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. Buying your first home can be overwhelming, but here are 5 tips to make the process go smoother. Number one, find a lender, me, Ed Locke, that can answer any questions you might have and help you get pre approved. There are multiple options available based on your situation. Number two, work with a real estate agent you can trust. Number three, don't rush the process. Take your time and know that the process could take some time. Number four, consider all the costs. Number five, get a home inspection and review it with your realtor. Keep these tips in mind, budget for yourself, and you'll be that much closer to making your dream of homeownership a reality. So reach out to me at 502-680-0953. NMLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, NMLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity.
He's alive! Have you checked the children? Get out!
You have scoured the podcast world and finally found us, Newsworthy with Steve and Jerry, where we delve into all things mysterious, macabre, or out of this world, and decide if they are truly newsworthy. Two words and two question marks.
Hello, fellas. Happy
Hello.
Thanksgiving.
Hello, hello.
Also, thank you, JMT3434, newest follower on Twitch. We started doing Twitch and we're getting followers and
Yeah, it's awesome.
growing on that little platform. That's
And-
pretty neat too.
And for that, we are thankful.
And for that, we are thankful. Absolutely. Every single thing and people and things, we are thankful. Our show just keeps growing, and in every genre that we go into, I've recently started, releasing every episode, the audio at least, parts onto X, and the response has been amazing on X. It's
Yeah.
weird, it's crazy.
That's awesome. Are we still getting the same sort of views that we were getting
Yeah.
last week? Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Pretty nifty. I appreciate everybody that tunes in and listens, and
Yeah.
and I always used to watch those videos, and they always say hit the like, subscribe, all that, and it helps the channel. Well, now on this end of it, I understand how that helps the
Right,
channel. So
yeah.
please like, subscribe, share with
Yeah.
your friends. We love it. It makes us thankful. We also are
That it
thankful
does.
that Jerry has found his favorite E word and found a way to work it into the teaser. That was nice.
That's old news.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
old
that's been
news.
going on for months.
Yeah, if you ever see, or I guess if you're on YouTube or you see the video, if you ever see us shaking our heads, or Steve shaking his head during the teaser, whenever Jerry says enigmatic, it's because it's a running joke.
Yeah,
What
It's-
Brett was trying to say by shaking his head is giving me the bird.
that too. One of these days, you're just going to see me and you on here, and you'll see like Jerry's feet up in the air because I've knocked him out of his off the stool. So we are. I'm very thankful for lots of things. I love what we do, and I love the opportunity. I'm thankful for the people who reach out and want to do interviews with us. We've got lots of great interviews throughout the whole month of December. Encounter is retooling for a brand new season. It's going to be fun and exciting. Again, if you guys have ever had an encounter, an experience with something you didn't understand, a ghost, a UFO, Bigfoot, Mothman, a Thunderbird, please reach out to us. We'd love to have you on the show, even if it's just for a 10 or 15-minute interview.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I had a listener reach out and say they wanted to tell us a couple of stories, but they didn't know if those stories would be interesting enough for the show. And I had to explain, not that she's going to be on the show, and I'm so stoked. She's brilliant, brilliant person. But I just, one of the things that people think about when they say interest, well, on our show in particular, people become interested because it's a real story. It's a real, something that really happened. It's not some made up stuff from Zach Baggins out there. Oh, did you hear that? Or, it's real, and the interest comes from that. So,
yeah, they have nothing to gain. That's something we talk about a lot. It's like a lot of these stories. What do they have to gain from this?
Yeah, are they selling a book?
Right.
Or they, whatever.
Or they have a TV show that they're trying to get views on.
And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Right.
I mean, there's a place for that. And we actually interview people. We have several coming up that are selling books and that are authors or have their own websites. And Lindsay Stanton was a great example, but she's also had that encounter. She's had that experience. So, that was a great interview. If you haven't checked that out yet, last week was a wonderful interview. Check it out if you can get through looking at Jerry's head long enough to the actual interview. That was wonderful. I enjoyed it.
It was phenomenal. Yeah.
I'm thankful for Jerry tonight. He brought over some good Dos Equis Amber.
Yeah.
It's not cold, sweet red, but it'll
do
do in the pit.
It is cold.
It is cold.
This is the only alcohol that I prefer cold is beer.
Well, that's because you're, wrong. But
I remember going to, when we went on our honeymoon, we went to England, Scotland, and Ireland. And I remember thinking that the beer, tasted different over there. And I think it's because it was a little bit warmer. It was like lukewarm beer.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't, I don't remember it being as cold as.
They don't refrigerate their beer over there.
Yeah.
At all.
I hate warm beer.
In Ireland?
Yeah. It's all hot beer.
I don't know.
Not hot, just room temp.
Yeah.
When I went, I wasn't a huge beer drinker anyway, so I think that the fact that it was warm, or it was it wasn't cold like I was used to. I don't remember it being warm per se. But
Does England do the same thing?
I think so. Like I said, I didn't drink a lot of beer there.
So is it most of the world other than U.S.
Well,
where this is cold?
It's kind of like cold, sweet red, Jerry. In the United States, we're right. The rest of the world is wrong.
I wish I could say that was true. Sadly, a big part of the United States says you and I are wrong.
Yeah, I would also agree.
Doesn't change my opinion. I don't care how many of them there are, they're still wrong.
Does change my opinion that they are wrong. That's all I got to say about it. You're one of them. Speaking of wrong, I was thinking about a time yesterday. I was talking to my son on the phone, Nick, and I had a time in my brain come up when I had to ground him for chewing on electrical cords. Yeah. It's crazy. He's doing better currently, though. More of a positive vibe on life.
No.
What? Nothing?
We'll give you something as soon as we get the joke. Finish it. Decent start.
Y'all suck. That's all I gotta say.
Since when do we start telling jokes and no punchline?
That was I don't even like this guy. Why is
Speaking of son, I told my son the other day if he wants to get a girlfriend, he should go to Target.
Oh?
There's a bunch of women there already looking for things you don't need.
Oh, that was terrible. I wish you'd give me a punchline.
People would believe that, except those on Twitch that already saw your face palm.
Mm-hmm.
I spotted an albino Dalmatian today.
You did?
Yeah.
How could you tell it was a Dalmatian?
You just ruined my joke. That's not what you were supposed to say.
He has a knack. He does that all the time. all the
So
time.
sorry.
I spotted an albino Dalmatian today. It was the least I could do for him.
Man. So, you got everybody that listens to us very often knows I have 3 dogs here. One of the dogs, there's like 3 dogs on the list that I will never own. I will never own a healer. Great work dogs,
I
but
like healers.
I've never known one that didn't try to bite me. Every single healer
But you've
I've
never
ever
had one.
No, I haven't. And because they always try to bite me, I never will. I will never own a Chihuahua.
I don't like
No,
that
thank
at
you.
all.
Yappy little thing, blah, blah. And I will never own a freaking Dalmatian. I had one when I lived up in northern Kentucky. And this dog was partially, I was a bad owner. I admit that. And he was a bad dog. I will never forget. Had this old Dodge truck, and I was under it, trying to put a transmission under it.
Yeah.
And Bud, that was his name, was out loose. And he decided, if you've never put a transmission in by yourself, you've got a
Never.
jack and you're holding the transmission up and you're trying to lock it to the torque converter, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure there's an easier way to do that. I didn't know it. I was a young dummy.
The fact that you knew how to put it in transmission is awesome.
But I was working through that process, and Bud decides that's a great time to hump my leg. Under a truck, both hands, if I move, this transmission could fall off the jack and hit me in the head. And he's just down there going to town. I was like, you are the dumbest single. It wasn't long after that, Bud found his way to a new home.
Yeah, we had a Dalmatian Terrier mix growing up, and that dog, she had seizures, so it was like another thing that was just awful about it. She was the hyperest dog ever. She would jump on. I remember as a kid, like I was super small, and she had like chased me, and I was like hanging off of the porch, and she just kept jumping up on me.
Well, thanks to you guys, I've just added one more item to my thankful list. I'm thankful I've never owned a Dalmatian.
Yeah, it's stupid. I hated those. I'll never own another one.
I've heard they're smart.
I don't believe it.
His dog
He was smart enough to know you couldn't do jack about what he was attempting to do.
He was like, "Oh, this is my time. I've been waiting for that leg."
I got it now. His leg's mine. Oh, jeez. Y'all suck.
Oh,
So
man.
bad. So let's talk a little history, shall we, of what we're talking about today.
Let's.
How far do we want to go back with Thanksgiving? Like the beginning?
What is the beginning?
Well, even before the Pilgrims arrived, Native American tribes had their own practices of celebrating harvest and giving thanks. These ceremonies often varied from tribe to tribe, but they involve feasts, dances, and ceremonies to honor nature's gifts as well as to strengthen their community ties. As a couple examples, the Wampanoag people, who played a key role in the first Thanksgiving, had long traditions of celebrating harvest and giving thanks for food. Other Native American groups across the continent held festivals that were based on their local crops and seasons, kind of like what we do now in the fall. And I thought that was really neat because a lot of those Native American tribes were very territorial, but they would come together for these feasts to celebrate each other's successes. So to me, that's a win.
No, that's super
That's
cool.
a lesson we should learn from them.
Yeah.
So talking about the first official Thanksgiving, the most famous origin story of Thanksgiving in the United States centers around the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag tribe. This happened all the way back. This is crazy. To me, this is an insane number. In 1620, a group of English settlers known as the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock in present-day Massachusetts. Settlers had endured a difficult journey across the Atlantic aboard the Mayflower. They faced a very harsh winter during 1620 and 1621. They're in Massachusetts in the winter. There's no such thing as an easy winter, I
Right,
don't
yeah.
think. But anywho,
Especially with no heat.
right? we're talking about like having a little stove in their
Yeah.
you know. So anyway, many of them died from disease and exposure. In the spring of 1621, they formed an alliance with the Wampanoag people who taught them many agriculture techniques such as planting corn and fishing. The original feast of 1621 happened after a successful harvest in the fall of 1621, and the Pilgrims actually invited the Wampanoag to join them for a feast to celebrate the abundance. The event likely lasted for several days, but it wasn't exactly like the Thanksgiving we celebrate today. They didn't consume turkey, stuffing, or pumpkin pie. They probably ate venison, wild fowl, corn, beans, squash, berries. The feast was more of a harvest celebration than a more formal Thanksgiving. So, Jerry, when you were at that Thanksgiving, what was the tone? Was it like tense? Was it very festive? Were people singing?
We were thankful that the Indians hadn't captured us, scalped us. Yeah, we were
Yeah.
giving thanks for that more so than anything.
Nice. Now, what was the typical dress? The buckled shoes and the buckled hats.
And do you still have yours?
Yeah. Do you
Oh,
still
but
have
of
yours in the
course.
closet?
But of course, I'm sure you see so many pictures of that, like everyone was wearing that. That's the most unpragmatic.
Unpractical.
Yes.
And if you did have metal for a buckle, you were fashioning that into some sort of tool back
Right.
in those days. You're
I'm
not
sure it was just
Yeah.
never worn, basically, ever. yeah.
Crazy. So let's fast forward to the 1800s. Sarah Josepha Sarah
good.
Josepha Hale, author of, you'll never guess this, I bet your kids have this in their library. She was the author of Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. She had become a strong advocate for establishing a national holiday of Thanksgiving. She had written numerous letters to presidents and public figures urging them to make Thanksgiving a national holiday. Abraham Lincoln, during the Civil War, in part to try to unite the company, responded to Hale's campaign. In 1863, he declared Thanksgiving a national holiday, setting the date as the final Thursday in November. This was right in the middle of the Civil War, and Lincoln had used the holiday to promote healing and national unity. Pretty smart
That's
fella
awesome.
from
Yeah.
that guy from Kentucky. On a side note, did you know the secret chamber in Mount Rushmore is actually behind Lincoln's head?
I thought there were multiple chambers.
This is the main one. It's 70 feet long, 30 feet wide. I want
did
you to
not.
just think about the irony in putting a hole right behind Lincoln's head on Mount Rushmore.
Never thought
Talking
of
about
that.
ironic, you're talking about Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
In the Bible, Jesus is known as what?
A lamb.
The Lamb of God.
Yeah.
So technically, Mary had a
A
little
little
lamb.
lamb.
What?
Yeah.
I thought that's what the origins of
Could
that
be, I don't
story
know.
was.
Could be.
That's what I always assumed. But
Probably right.
Well, it sounds like this Sarah Hale was a pretty upstanding person. That's probably where that came from,
Yeah.
and she put it in no way. You know, what was the show that was recently with the lion? That was a representation of the Bible.
Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it could have been very similar to that. Hey, let's get people interested in this, and then tell them that.
Yeah.
I mean-
C.S. Lewis, man, he's a wizard. Him and Tolkien.
AI says, and we know AI is always right, the origins are unclear, but it's generally agreed that the poem is based on a true story about Mary Sawyer and her pet lamb.
Okay.
I have no
Interesting.
clue who Mary Sawyer is,
Just a coincidence that
I guess.
Well, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, in 1939, President Franklin FDR moved Thanksgiving up 1 week to the third Thursday in November. This was enabled to extend the holiday shopping season and help boost the economy during the Great Depression. This caused a great deal of controversy, and many states refused to follow the change. Eventually, after 2 years of confusion in 1941, Congress passed the official law setting Thanksgiving as the fourth Thursday in November, where it remains today. So, what is, and we all know we're modern people, so we know what modern Thanksgiving is now. Football, everybody's got a couple of games. They usually have the Cowboys on, which nobody watches. Cowboys suck. If you like the Cowboys, like some people's daughters sitting at this table,
Brett, your daughters are a little young to be
I
getting
don't
them
know
into
if
football.
my daughters have ever even watched football.
yeah, it ain't that.
My daughter used to be a huge Cowboys fan. Then she had children.
I think I broke her of it. She just got tired of
No.
me sending her bad memes.
She's broken from football. I asked her the other day something about the Cowboys, and she was like, "Dad, I haven't watched a football game." She said, "I think I've not watched a single football game since Jensen was born."
Jeez.
He's
I
3,
believe
will
it.
soon be 4.
It's tough to keep up with stuff like that, especially when you got Bluey on the TV. It ain't like you're turning on Sports
Yeah.
Center. So.
I talked to a young man today that had 6 kids, much like you, stair step, and the
Yeah.
oldest was 6.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh my
And I'm
That's
like,
Art McChesney right there.
and I'm like, dude, do you know what causes that? Because everybody used to ask me that, so I had to finally, I got a reason to ask. And he's like, yeah, this. I'm going to be thankful that I'm not that guy. Let's just say. Very thankful.
I'm thankful I'm not Catholic. I admire the heck out of them, but that's a tough religion. Think about what we're just talking about. I started to ask, was it Catholic? Many of them who
No.
have so many kids close together are Catholic because their religion prohibits most birth control.
See, like that question, I get asked that all the time, obviously.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
But it always
For-
kind of bothers me because it's like the kid, like I don't ever see my kids. I mean, obviously, having kids is frustrating sometimes. It's like they get on your nerves, but I never like. There's nothing I wouldn't do for any of them. Like, I wouldn't
Absolutely.
trade any of them for anything. And so, like,
You
when
never
people
look at
say,
it
like,
as a
what would
burden.
you know? What I mean, it's not like I would. I wish I didn't have any of the kids I have.
Yeah, that's
So,
me.
I don't care if it's it'll make me financially more stable or help my career in any way.
Well, that's the thing. That's a real problem in today's world. I mean, Elon Musk has said it. Xi Jinping in China has changed their entire because there is a massive depopulation in the world coming because most people are just what you just said. Well, I can't afford to have kids.
Yeah.
I can't.
And you
I
can.
like living this lifestyle, and if I have a child, I can't live this lifestyle.
Like I was
anymore.
talking to my stepdad actually yesterday. We were just talking about the economy, and we're hoping things get better. But then we started talking about like I go on vacation a couple times a year at least.
Yeah.
Most of the time, both times it's to the beach. Then we'll go camping several times. And it's not like we're not in the upper echelon of income.
You're just smart with your money.
So and I'm just saying, like, so we can do all that with 4 kids. People can have more kids and still be able to do a lot of the things that they want to do.
Just for one second,
go
just
ahead.
for
No.
clarity's sake, when you say there's depopulation in the world, you're talking about the way that certain trends look like it's pointed to in the future.
Yes,
We
yes.
are nowhere near depopulation.
No.
When you look at the current population in the entire
Well,
world,
it's growing still,
we're
right?
on
Yeah.
this upward
Right.
trend that basically is unchanged at this point.
And it is, and here's the way that the world population works, and you're going to agree with this, I'm sure. Just because China and America are going down does not mean that
Look
the
at
Sudan
India.
and India are
Yeah.
not going up.
Because
So
India just became, is it the most populated country?
Yes.
Yes.
densely,
Yes.
most densely
Right, most
populated.
No.
densely. Oh,
That
let me
what he's
look.
talking about changed a few, like within the last
Mhm.
year, I think. Anyway,
well, that's what I'm saying, and it may
Right.
not be a problem for some of those countries, but for countries that have an established
for individual countries,
guideline,
absolutely.
that's some of
Huge
their main
problem with China.
Yeah.
But to be fair, why is it such a problem with China?
because China created that problem, right?
With their taxes.
Yeah.
They were so
Well, and the
overpopulated.
single kid.
Yes. They had a doctrine that said if you have 0 kids, you get all these benefits. If you have 1, you get certain benefits. 2 or more, you begin paying penalties.
Yeah.
So for many years, that was their official stance. So yes, this is a self-inflicted problem for China.
And China complicated that because there was no namesakes, so people would get rid of their daughters.
Right.
Yes.
They all wanted boys.
They all wanted
Yeah.
boys,
So-
and now they're really screwed.
So India passed China as the most populated country in,
Yes.
in 2023.
Not in density,
Wow.
just
Oh, wow.
population.
Yeah.
That's crazy considering the size
I know.
difference in the
Right.
two countries.
Yes.
I did
Huge.
see a thing where Pakistan, and we're way out of the weeds here for Thanksgiving, but Pakistan is becoming the most solar generated country in the world.
I'll be darned.
Because-
Pakistan.
Well, it's because they've never had a
Reliable.
good, reliable
system.
power grid.
Sure.
They get these, they're right beside China. So they get these imports of their solar panels, and it's cheap enough for the average person to be able. So, yeah, they're thinking 17, 18 gigawatts by the end of the year.
Do you remember by any chance the girl's name that you and I were messing around on what forum were we on? And we had this listener that joined and we promised to do shows with her. And she's from South Africa.
Oh, yeah, we're on Podbean. We're getting ready to leave
We're on
Podbean.
Podbean.
Yeah.
And she joined and she just got to talking about things there.
Yeah,
versus here.
I
And
reached out to
that is
her.
one of the big issues. She's like, here, we don't have reliable
Power.
electricity
Yeah.
to the point that several people she knew had started businesses. And if you had any need, a requirement for electricity, she knew people that had opened grocery stores or butcher shops and had to go out of business because they showed up to work tomorrow morning. They might have to take everything and throw it away because the power went off for 5 hours last night.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
And she was just so amazed that, in the United States that we don't have any of those problems.
Yeah. Speaking of thankful, let's bring it back
Yes.
there. I am so thankful I was born in this country.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Got a ton of problems, and we talk about them, and I think that's important. But with all its problems, still far and away the greatest country in the face of the earth, and I'm absolutely
For the
thankful
freest country.
Absolutely. for almost any
By any metric.
It's not
aspect
even
you
close.
want to look at,
Yeah.
whether
not
it's
even
freedom of
close.
religion or freedom of speech or whatever. The fact that the 3 little country bumpkins can sit here and moan and groan and bitch and gripe about whatever, and we don't have someone knocking on the door tomorrow putting us under arrest,
Right.
puts us ahead of
Draining
a
our
big part of the
bank
world.
account, Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have so much to be thankful for. And it's so easy to play the opposite. I was thinking earlier about what I was thankful for, and health is one that I'm
Oh,
thankful
yeah.
for. And it's easy for me to wallow in self pity and say, well, because I don't have the best of health. I take a handful of pills. I have a problem with drugs. Apparently, I'm too high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high sugar. So yeah, I take medicine for all of those. Even so, it's not. Just
You
look
can.
around. There's so many people that I am so much better than. So I am absolutely thankful for the health that I've got. Yeah, it's really easy to take so many things for granted.
One
And
of the things that Jerry takes for granted that he told me outside of the show
is the word
was-
enigmatic.
was the fact that he gets to come here with us at least once a week, Brett, and just and soak in your greatness.
I mean, who can
Soak it up.
doubt that? Yeah. Can't deny that. There's a reason why that we're situated at the table the way we are. We put Brett in the middle
Right.
because he's the one that the camera points to. Best face forward. So, yeah, we're not. We may not be the brightest guys in the world. We're not the stupidest either.
Right.
So we knew how to put the best foot
You talk
forward.
about health. I am very thankful for my health this year. Now,
Absolutely.
I
After
would
last
hope
year.
that next Thanksgiving I don't have any cuts or sutures or next year.
Yeah,
but
you do.
nice.
With the scalpel.
I had another operation or thing yesterday, but I'm thankful we were able to do it. there's some countries, Canada, that you have to schedule that stuff out weeks in advance. And I'm
Yeah.
thankful that we don't have to do that. I found that out last week and was there this week and done.
I'm sure you're
Yeah.
thankful you're in. Speaking of these issues, you're in much better shape than you were a year ago.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Now, here's the thing, and I'll just be 100% honest. I look to last year and I see the results of it. I see my scars and everything, but in my mind, that happened to someone else. It just doesn't. I get, first of all, UK Marquee Cancer Center is amazing. If you're in Kentucky and they send you to Marquee for the cancer treatment, you're going to be in good hands.
Yeah, I've heard they're the best.
They were amazing. But they send me these things because I'm a survivor and blah, blah, blah. But it just feels so weird to get those. Hey, come be a part of this celebration. And I'm like, why'd you send this to? Because it just doesn't register. But I think that's a response mechanism maybe. But
Yeah, you went through something
this
super
time,
traumatic.
this time last year, I had tubes hanging out of my neck.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm a lot better this year. I appreciate it. What about you, Brett? What's one big thing that you're, thankful for?
I got 4 kids that are all healthy. I think
Gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
That's the
by the way.
biggest thing for me. I see other people who struggle with, having children in general. And we've been truly blessed,
I was thinking maybe you'd get us all another one.
You're not through with that one.
Yeah, I am.
Stuff is too good to waste.
He's got like a fifth of the beer left.
That's not a fifth of the beer. It's the backwash. I don't drink the backwash.
Oh man, no, yeah, I'm super. I have a lot to be thankful for. But like you said, we're in a great country. I have a great job. My wife's got a great job. We have a great house. I mean, the list it's infinite.
Yeah.
We serve. We're all Christians. The fact that we're growing up post Jesus Christ. We're not like the Jewish people and are having to, wait for the Messiah. The Messiah has already come and died for our sins. So I need to always remember to be more thankful of that.
I think that's going to be my first topic on our new podcast.
Yeah.
Why do the Jews believe the way the Jews believe?
Yeah, that always. I've not looked into it, of course, but I don't want to.
Jerry is the man. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Certainly welcome.
I'm thankful for this beer and thankful for this gentleman over here to bring it to me. We were talking about, I was just talking about how I'm thankful that we're living in a post-Messiah. Jesus has already died for our sins. I'm sure you guys have seen it, The Passion of the Christ. I watched that, and it's
a great movie.
It really affected me, and just to see all the things that he went through. And honestly, Mel Gibson was saying that he kind of watered it down a little bit because what he actually went through was too intense. And when you watch that, it's like, dang, this is
pretty intense.
This is already pretty rough. So, anyways,
what are some of the big things you're thankful for, Jerry, other than having to get together every week with me and Brett?
Well, the top several are the same as about everyone: family, friends, health, home. That doesn't change. It's as long as your priorities are, in my opinion, correct. That's going to be the things that you're most thankful for. Other than that, one thing that I am really thankful for is the ability to Google any question, which is absolutely necessary to constantly fact check Steve. So I absolutely need that one.
You say that it's a thing we take advantage of in today's society. Because I worked with this engineer. He was in his 70s when I worked with him, so he'd been an engineer for 50
Long
years.
time.
And he said when he went to Georgia Tech to look up something, they would have to comb through books and tons of books. And now we just have it at our fingertips. What's this equation? What's this
Anything.
date? Anything. I mean, it's amazing.
You guys know what half price books are, right? You
Yeah.
know, it's a place you can go get nice used books and read, and you can also sell books there. I took an entire encyclopedia set there. I'm thinking, it's a whole set. Somebody will be able to get some value out of it for it to be a nice piece, you know, in their house or whatever. They literally gave us like $3 for
It's
the
like
whole
GameStop.
set. It was bad, yeah. Somebody, it wasn't me, but somebody had paid thousands of dollars for this
Literally.
set. And-
Encyclopedia Britannica
yeah.
used to be $1,500, $2,000.
yeah, and they literally gave us like $3 for
I
it.
always so this is like I've always wondered if why authors aren't pissed off about half price books, because they're not getting an extra. Like you go buy like a book, that author isn't getting a portion of that money. You know
No,
what I mean?
well, you know, I think it comes down to a lot like the streaming services, though. The artists aren't getting a hit every single time that somebody you know,
They aren't.
they get a hit when I download it the first time, but not the second or third or fifth time I listen to it, like they would if it was on the radio. And then, but it gets your name out there, if you know what I'm saying. Or
Yours-
audiobooks are the same way.
You guys know what Wares is?
Yeah.
Years and years ago, Microsoft was on record as saying that their software would have never gotten anywhere near as popular as it did, as quickly as it did, had it not been for Wares.
Yeah.
They were thankful for Wares, which is people stealing their stuff and giving it away. But it made them popular as crap,
Yeah.
which just increased. So do you not think that's part of the reason? First of all, authors can't begrudge, they can, but it's not going to do them any good to begrudge secondhand sales.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about it.
Right.
It's
And-
legal.
Right. Because you've already bought the book, and so like I don't know. I just
Wouldn't
I've
be
just thought
different
of that.
selling at a yard sale.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Same
I've just
deal.
thought about that.
And I'm sure what they're thinking is hopefully it's in high demand.
Yeah.
And all that does is the next time I come out with a new book, it increases the demand for that
Right.
new book.
You know, not everybody gets shared and liked and processed the way we do here on Newsworthy. I mean, Joe Rogan's pretty close. He's getting
He's
up there
getting
with
there.
us. You know,
We actually had to turn Trump down because
I just
we were
didn't
just
have
too busy. We already had to, everything was booked up.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, I wish we could have had him on, but maybe
next time.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll get the
well, I
next
guess there will
president.
be a next time.
Well, for the next
But-
president.
Yeah.
candidate.
Well, unless you think he's the next Hitler, he's gonna.
Oh, jeez.
He
Anyways.
said he shouldn't have left last time, so maybe he won't. In which case, there still wouldn't be an election, right?
Let me Google something. Fact check Jerry here.
Please do.
What?
Please do.
No, I will happily.
Please do. I'll tell you one more thing I'm thankful for. I know it's not my turn, but I go out of turn. Have you guys ever had the opportunity to use an outhouse? I am thankful for indoor plumbing.
Amen.
Oh yes, for sure.
So when I was a kid, my grandparents, my mom's mom and dad, until I was, 7, 8, 9 years old, an outhouse was it. There was no indoor
Can you
plumbing.
explain to me how an outhouse works?
Yes, but I think I'll run off every listener to do so. I mean, what is your question?
Do they just? It's like a hole that they dig, right?
Yes.
Well, this one was not. This one was on very sidling ground, so it didn't need to be moved. Normally, if it's on flat ground, you dig a hole and you use it until it's full, and you move it and dig a new hole.
That's awful.
It is horrible.
Smells good too in the summertime.
Oh,
One of the reasons the Sears Roebuck catalogs became so famous is because they were used extensively in outhomes.
They became smaller if you need a visual as the months
Years.
go by. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, originally they were that thick, literally. Yeah, but not. Suffice it to say, I am extremely thankful for indoor plumbing.
Absolutely. I am very thankful that as a person who is, how do I put this? I am very thankful in the future opportunities now that we no longer have children in the house, for our abilities to start doing longer term and longer short-term mission trips. So
Yeah.
we're looking at exploring it, doing at least one big one this year. So I'm pretty
that'd be
stoked with
awesome.
that. Yeah. So
Is that through your all's church? That's cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing with having kids. It's like I would love to do stuff like that, and I always think about, oh man, maybe I should be doing more. But really, my job is to make sure my kids are okay
Yeah.
before I start worrying about everybody else.
And when your kids get older, then you go as a group.
Right.
You know.
I think one of the biggest things we should never forget, going hand in hand with what you're just saying, true mission work begins at home.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing at home, what you're faking doing somewhere other country is meaningless. It either starts at home or you're not doing it right.
Right.
So absolutely, you're doing mission work now.
I think so. I'm also thankful, and I just want to throw it out there. I'm thankful for all of our past guests. I know we make fun of and talk about this podcast a lot in joke form, but we take this very seriously for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, we want to get better. We want to have good guests. We want to entertain our people. We want to have you want to come back or be waiting for that next episode to download. And a lot of that goes through the many and varied guests. We've had Sarah on the show. She is, like me, very conspiracy minded. One of our favorite guests comes on regularly, Clay Davis.
He's the original guest.
He's the original
First
guest,
one we ever had.
and he is an amazing guest. He always brings it. Whatever it is, he brings it. And
We love having him.
we love having him on. We've had Philip and Amber from Beyond the
Philip and Amber Crane, Beyond the, I don't know. I'll Google it.
Thank
Keep going.
you. But they're a paranormal research group who are
Yeah.
planning to come back on the show again and talk about some of the things that they've seen. Lindsay Stanton, a guest, a very recent guest. All of the guests who took their time to talk to us and give us an interview for Encounters, all of those people help make this show better and grow. And I am thankful for each and every one of you. Speaking of that, we have, and officially, and we made this announcement last week, we're going to Red River Gorge in Stanton, Kentucky on May 31st of next year.
Yep.
If you've had an encounter, our crew, me, Jerry, and Brett will all be there. We'll be interviewing people. We want to talk to you, so make sure to put a big red mark on your calendar. May 31st next year.
I'm so excited.
I'm stoked. It should be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It may not look like it, and sometimes the finished product, we have a bad show. Hey, crap happens sometimes, and we have to improvise on the fly. But this is a lot of work. We put a lot of work into it. We really want to get better, and I'm thankful for all of our guests, and I'm most thankful for all of our listeners and followers. It's amazing.
It's been cool, and I'm thankful that I was able to kind of join in late to the party. I guess I was initially just going to be a fill-in when you obviously had some health issues, but I'm really thankful that I've been able to stay on.
Shoot,
I'm thankful my wife letting me.
We are so thankful
Yes,
for
we are.
Truly
Thank you,
for
Truly.
letting you out for a night, because
Which is not easy.
No,
They've
it
got
really
4
isn't.
kids at home,
Yeah.
4 young children under the age of 5. That is a huge burden for anyone. So thank you, Truly. We certainly do appreciate it.
No, it's been awesome.
yeah, if you had joined us earlier, our name would have been a little different. But by the time
I'm,
you got
like I
here,
said, I'm cool with that.
Oh, I've been aiming to mention this, by the way. Steve was nice enough to offer, thanks to Truly for watching the kids, like we said, every night. Steve has offered to, at any time you and her wish, he will watch all 4 children some weekend. So on behalf of Steve,
one-
I'm volunteering his services anytime you want.
Man, I'm really thankful for that. How about this week?
wow, Jerry is. I'm really thankful that
You forgot mentioning that? You'd had a couple, 3 bottles of wine. But, yeah, you did say that.
Yeah. We talked about, all the listeners and the guests we have, but I would do this if we had 0 listeners. I think it's just so much fun just to hang out with you guys. That's when I first started listening to you guys, when you guys first started, it was almost like, where when you used to have Bible studies and things like that, it was like I get to hang out with you guys again.
Yep.
So that's I'm really fortunate to be able to keep doing this.
Yeah, me too.
We're certainly glad to have you.
I don't know where things go in the future. I know that this isn't going anywhere. I hope. We're actually talking. There's some preliminary stuff about expanding into a whole different podcast for a different total topic. We don't know what that looks like yet, so we're not going to make any announcements. I'm thankful that I have enough room now in my home, now that there are no children living here, that we're going to have a stable, secure, 100% dedicated studio, hopefully starting around the first of the year. That's going to be
I'm
awesome.
super pumped about that. Yeah. It's gonna be really
That's
cool.
already starting to look fabulous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it's something.
I'm a quite clumsy person. I am very thankful for the 5-second rule.
Really?
You look confused. Do you not know the 5-second rule?
Yes. One of my favorite all-time memes is of the 5-second rule.
Okay.
You're
Please
talking
tell
about with
us.
food.
Yes.
It's the meme where there's like a slice of pizza on the ground, and there's all the germs, and there's a king. He has his little crown, and he's like, "Wait, we must wait the mandatory 5 seconds." And all the germs are standing around
I've
the
never
pizza.
seen that, but that's hilarious.
It's so funny.
Have you seen the MythBusters episode on this?
No.
They did an episode where they tested the 5-second
I'll
rule,
be darned.
and it actually is.
Somewhat truthful.
It's relevant, yeah. Or it works. Like yeah. After about 5 seconds, the germs continue to grow.
Yep.
So you get it within that 5 seconds. You're really not
There
getting
you
a lot of extra germ.
You know, you're talking about germs and stuff, and we're almost actually done with the episode. Believe it or not, it's crazy, but I'm thankful for doctors and scientists and researchers who have begun to unlock some of the weirdest, most insane things as far as how life works. You know, we think about it, we go through the day and day, and we don't think of nothing about it. We go to our job, we're raising our kids, we're drinking or eating or whatever. There are whole ecosystems, even inside of us, that keep us healthy, and there are ecosystems on the outside of us that we're not aware of. It's so weird. It takes me back. The more and more I learn about science, and I dig science, I love it. But the more and more I learn, reminds me of the last part of the first Men in Black movie. Do you remember that? When J and K, and Jay's like, yeah, you know, he's feeling really big in his britches, and he opens a locker, and there's a whole nother universe in there.
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Just some of the stuff that the James Webb Telescope are discovering that's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It just, anyhow.
Yeah, science is really incredible. Like, if you look at some of those pictures of like nebula that are, hundreds of light years, long.
In the past.
And it's just like, yeah, right. And it's you can't even fathom how big that is.
Yeah.
Because our Earth feels so big. Heck, our state feels big relative to us, and then you go into our country, and then our Earth, and then our solar system, and it's just it's unfathomable how big our universe is.
All right, so let's go around. Let's talk a little bit about what we're doing this Thanksgiving, and then we'll wrap it up. So, Jerry, what do you got going on this Thanksgiving? New house, families all
New
coming
house,
over,
got a
right?
bunch of family.
It's exciting.
Around 10 people going to be there. So, yeah.
Freaking fantastic.
A lot of cooking, a lot of good food. Yeah, and that's another thing. Early on, you were talking about the traditions of the original Thanksgiving and some of the things we think that they might have eaten. So rarely do we give thanks to the ability to go and get any food that we want at any time we want. And that is not, I mean, we're talking about comparing it to the Pilgrims at the original Thanksgiving. 60, 70 years ago, that was unthinkable.
Right.
60, 70
Yeah.
years ago, you ate what was in season. There was no bringing it in from another country. There was no way to preserve foods from out of season and have it fresh. Today you go to Walmart or Kroger or wherever you get your food, and you get basically anything you want at any time. And no better time at Thanksgiving when we tend to have a spread like no other. to see that live in action. So,
Yep.
yeah, another thing I'm thankful for.
The farmers, the producers, the fruit tree growers, there's so many people out there that work to make that happen. The truck drivers that bring the
Right.
product from the ships to the store. So
A lot of
many
people involved.
Yeah, a lot of people
Absolutely.
involved. What about you, Brett? Big plans this weekend?
Yeah, we of course we got 2 families, so we're just it's just navigating that. We don't really have any traditions per se, because we're still trying to navigate the whole. Do we see our her family this year? Do we see my family this year? So, but she's got a huge family, so we have like several Thanksgivings to go with hers, and we have my families, and so we'll be doing that this weekend. So
Nice.
pretty excited.
Well, that's one of the reasons what you just said is there's 2 reasons that I'm doing what I do this year. Last year, obviously, I was very sick, and didn't feel like cooking, didn't feel like entertaining, did not feel like being around a lot of people. And what I learned through that was that it was easier on my children to not do it. They all are married and have their own families that they have to, like your in-laws that you're going to. And it's so difficult to make everybody's work well, because Nick's, fiance's family might be doing lunch, but Josh's in-laws might be doing dinner. So
Right.
where do you fit in and
Right.
then have them come all the way here from a different city? It's just not worth all of that. We're going to get together at Christmas. So Robin and I are actually going to go and do exactly what we did last year. Last year, I put like I'd mentioned before, I had some tubes hanging out my neck. So I put one of those things, a scarf on, and we went to Cracker Barrel. And God bless those people that are working Thanksgiving on Cracker Barrel. If you go to Cracker Barrel on Thanksgiving or any place that's open, you better tip good.
Right. Yeah.
Because those people are sacrificing their time away from their family to serve you. So that's what we're going to do again this year, and I'm pretty excited. But it's a lot less stress, and I'm at a point again this year that I kind of need that less of a stress. So,
Well, I tried to get you to come over to my house. That was pretty stress free.
yeah, I appreciate that very much. It's just one of those things. We're just tired. We're going to take Robin's off. I'm off. We're just going to sleep in and
Enjoy
take
the
the
day.
day as it has. Yeah, take it as it is, man. To whatever you guys choose to do, this year, just always do it in thanks. And I'm a big believer in a lot of people take New Year's resolutions for granted. Oh, I'm gonna get in shape, and they get a gym membership, and then in February they cancel the membership. Whatever. I've never been doing that, but Thanksgiving's a good opportunity. Every day is a good opportunity to change something for the better. But Thanksgiving's something that, I know a lot of people out there that need to give more thanks. They need to understand that life necessarily isn't about you, and you should give thanks to the people that help contribute to the life you do have.
I think that's all of us to some degree.
Absolutely.
We should all be more thankful because guys, you don't have to look around very far to find people who would love to be in your shoes.
Oh yeah.
So we absolutely, each and every one of us, no matter what problems we've got an absolute ton to be thankful for.
Yeah.
So give thanks.
I absolutely agree 100%.
What a great conversation. But we're not done yet. Stick around through these very important ads for an awesome bonus story. JT's Way is a Christ-centered, nonprofit organization with a call to help hurting families during the loss of a child. At JT's Way, they assist families grieving from the loss of a child through assistance with things like funeral expenses, emotional support, guidance through the grief process, and help in their healing journey. While paying for funeral expenses, they help navigate picking a funeral home, burial plot, or cremation services, and provide families with grief counseling resources. JT was 17 years old when he died unexpectedly in an automobile accident. He was a senior in high school and a student in the automotive class. JT loved cars and music and he took his role of friend very seriously and made sure to make friends wherever he went. Their mission at JT's Way is to minister to families by financially assisting and connecting them with their local resources. These resources will assist in the financial and emotional burden of bearing a child. Their aim is to aid in the healing process for parents and families, and these resources include grief counseling and parent-sibling groups. The outside world doesn't stop, but we can tell you from experience that a parent's world certainly does. In a time of desperate hopelessness, JT's Way provides hope. If you want to help support JT's Way in their mission, please reach out to them at www.jtsway.com. JT would often say, "Let me challenge you to make a friend, be a friend, and most importantly, bring a friend to the loving arms of Jesus Christ."
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. Buying your first home can be overwhelming, but here are 5 tips to make the process go smoother. Number 1, find a lender, me, Ed Locke, that can answer any questions you might have and help you get pre-approved. There are multiple options available based on your situation. Number 2, work with a real estate agent you can trust. Number 3, don't rush the process. Take your time and know that the process could take some time. Number 4, consider all the costs. Number 5, get a home inspection and review it with your realtor. Keep these tips in mind, budget for yourself, and you'll be that much closer to making your dream of homeownership a reality. So reach out to me at 502-680-0953. NMLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, NMLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity.
If you would like to share suggestions for future episodes, or simply tell us how much you love or hate us, reach out to us via email at newsworthywithsteveandjerry@gmail.com or text us at area code 540-709-1318. And now, back to the story.
Jerry, when you lived in Virginia, did you ever go to Shenandoah National Park?
Sure did.
All right. Well, then you might be familiar with the Snallygaster.
Nope, can't say I am.
The Shenandoah National Park is said to be the gem of the Old Dominion state. Well, that was random. Anyway, so one of my, just so you all know, the cat just completely destroyed the studio. Thank you for that. The Shenandoah National Park is said to be the gem of the Old Dominion state, one of the most frequently visited nature preserves in all of Virginia. But the park has a mystery, too. The possibility of a fearsome snallygaster monster living in the park. The snallygaster is a huge winged beast, part reptile, part bird, quite ferocious and scary. The bird beast is said to have serrated teeth, hooked talons, and a tail more than 20 feet long. The creature looks similar to a dragon, but it does not breathe fire. However, the snallygaster can put forth a piercing cry, louder than a locomotive, and that is capable of stunning any nearby prey. A newspaper clip from 1909 reported the direct words of a local resident in Frederick County. Someone who saw the snallygaster and lived to tell the tale. The resident said the beast had enormous wings, a long pointed bill, claws like steel hooks, and eyes in the center of its forehead. Other reports suggest the creature had an octopus-like tentacles coming out of its mouth, perhaps to suck the blood from its victims. The snallygaster is in the Shenandoah Park in Virginia, and apparently Jerry has been there and lived to tell the tale. And Jerry, if you can't see the light,
Be the light.